Right, it's Monday night, here we are. Just finished watching The Walking Dead. Great episode as always, but this isn't about The Walking Dead, this is about football. Mainly obviously about Newport County, that's the main fans who we have in here, but then Oliver Davis is first in. You're usually first, in you, Ollie? Lewis is in. How's it going, guys? How are you? How's everybody else? Obviously, as I said, this is mainly obviously about Newport County, but then about football in general as well. We get fans from all over. Here we go. Vale, yeah, a bit of a gutting one that one was because I thought we were quite easily the better team in a well it was quite I wouldn't say it was a tightly contested game, but at the same time I think we were the better team. We had the one goal lead. We didn't deserve to get anything less than a win, but it is what it is. Big man's in. Aiden unlucky Friday night. I thought, yeah, we were a bit unlucky, mate, to be honest with you. Yeah, Dolan's got a good left foot on him, certainly. Bluebirds TV is in. Lee Saunders is in. Love City Hate Agar. We got the Exeter man in again. Happy days. Georgie's in. Oh, this is early for you, Georgie. You're usually later on, ain't you? 2 points lost against Port Vale, absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. How nasty was Pope? Pope was a complete and utter dick, mate, to be honest with you. What he did Dimitri just because you couldn't beat him to the ball, uncalled for. Opinions on Meg, I don't think he's that good. Being honest with you, I actually think he is that good. I actually do think he's pretty damn good. But I just don't think he's being utilised in the right way. Just wait up for Rig. You'll see a much better player soon enough. He is very good, I think. Just realised I'm on his 29, paying thousands for 29 was a bit risky. Well, a lot of good strikers go on until their 30s. I mean, look at Kevin Richards, for example. Richards, Phillips. I reckon we got a good 4 years out of him. We could potentially get with a dirty team. They were a bit. They're getting away with a lot of stuff, and we were getting penalised for the same stuff. There was no consistency from the referee at all. Do you think Port Vale will stay up? I think they're good enough to stay up. I think they are good enough to stay up. Absolutely. Buzz for Cambridge. Oh, I just don't want it to be a banana skin. I want to get that third round. We need a good cup tie. Finances. I'm not saying we're thin on finances, but a cup tie could transform the club at the end of the day, you know. So I just hope even if we lose the next 3 league games, I just want to win that game against Cambridge. Thoughts on Italy not qualifying for the World Cup? That's quite mental, isn't it? I didn't watch the game. I was watching Walking Dead, but obviously I could have watched a bit of it before it. But I thought, no, I don't like watching a football match unless I can watch it all. So yeah, I think that's pretty mental. I think any past World Cup winner not qualifying for a World Cup is a bit crap, to be honest. I think for Italy to not qualify is bad, really bad. I think their manager will get the sack, and they'll come knocking on the door for Conte again, and he could go as well. Ollie Davis bringing on Swindon away. Well, we got Accrington away first, and then Barnet, and then Swindon away. So 2 games. Accrington is going to be tough, I know, but we always tend to do well up there. I don't think I've ever seen us lose. I think we've only ever won and drawn up in Accrington. I've been there a few times, bit of a shithole as well. Lewis, most teams that come to RP are dirty cheat. Yeah, most teams in League 2 are dirty cheating scumbags, mate. You know, and the thing is, we have to play their game to beat them as well, which is a bit of a shame. You know, I don't like seeing the county playing dirty football, but the thing is, at least we try playing some football. You know. Gateshead fans are mental. Shirts off at Gateshead fans. Well, the few that actually are there, I suppose. Yeah. Hopefully Cambridge is on a Friday night or Sunday evening. I hope not. I hope it's just 3 o'clock kick off on a Saturday. And I say that because we'll have more fans through the gate with that. Hello, Mr. Ball. How are you, mate? George Grant wanted by Bolton and Brentford, dreading January transfer window. So George Grant, is he the one that we were moaning at? He looked like a pretty decent player, actually. Is he not on loan or whatever? Fill us in on that, Georgie. County grain is nice, but stinks of piss. Well, a lot of grain stink of piss, because County fans piss on their walls. Good evening, Chris. Yeah, Greg's in. Just watching that Gaza documentary on ITV4. One of the greatest players of modern times. Great character too. Yeah, a bit limited edition in the Gaza. You don't get people like him in sport anymore. Everyone's a bit too serious. You don't get people who have fun and like to have a joke. But then at the same time, you don't get many players who had as much technical ability as what Gaza had as well. So yeah, it would be interesting to see that. I'll have to see if it's on a catch-up TV. Aki Stanley would be interesting. Prediction 1-0 County. Well, I remember last year we were up there and they were doing decent. We were doing poorly, and it was Graham Wesley's first win for County, and everyone said we're going to win 3-1 today. Like, really? We're going to win 3-1 against this lot? No, more likely we'll lose 3-1. Hopefully we'll pinch a 1-0 or a 2-1 or something like that, but I can't see us winning comfortably. We won 3-1. So I'm taking that, and if we win 1-0, Eden, I'm thanking you for that one, mate. Big man, where are we? Do you know who Phil Foden is? If you do, what are your thoughts? I actually don't. Could you enlighten us, please, mate? Georgie, he's on loan from Forest for the season. However, they have a clause where they can recall him in January. He scored 11 and assisted 5 in all comps this year. Dreading Forest to recall and sell him. Well, I think that's the only problem when he's not your player. That's the only thing I don't like about loaning players. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a quick fix. It's a good thing if you can keep him for the season. But no, I don't know, mate. We're worrying about the same thing with Sean Mikulski. Sorry. He obviously plays for Bristol City, and they've had their people down watching him lately. So I hope they don't want to call him back and play for them. Ethan Ampadu doing. How is Ethan Ampadu doing for Wales? He hasn't played awfully much for Wales yet, but the fact that he's even getting a look in at the moment is actually pretty decent for him, you know, at such a young age. The same with Ben Woodburn as well. All the youngsters are getting their chance, which is great. Got a feeling for the next World Cup we're going to have a few extra stars in the team, and yeah, happy days. Wales we're looking good, Wales, at the moment, to be honest. Right. Should Wales beat Panama tomorrow? Oh no, sorry, Lee Saunders. Aaron Williams seems on fire. I do think he's good enough for League Two. Well, I thought he was good enough for League Two last season because he actually banged a couple of goals in. Flaney must be seeing something in training that he's not quite measuring up to, whether it's a confidence thing, because usually when you send someone out on loan, it's to get their confidence up. Aaron Williams, I don't know. If he can score the goals down there, you know, at least he knows we know we can find the net. In League Two, the defenders and the goalkeepers they come up against are obviously a lot better. So, I don't know, it's a tricky one with Aaron Williams. I actually saw him in Newport in Spitty Park and had a chat with him, and he's hoping that he's going to come back and have a shot in the first team. I think if he's been scoring goals there, I think we've been sort of lacking goals lately. He certainly deserves the opportunity, I think. Should Wales beat Panama tomorrow? I should think so, yeah. Phil Foden is a Man City youth player. He won Golden Boy under-17s World Cup. He said is to be England's next big thing, and many people say he could be world class at the age of 21, 22. Well, in that case, then yeah, I think I do recall the person that you're talking about actually, and even with that, I doubt you'll get into Man City's team. You know, he won't get into Man City's team. He'll end up having to play for like a West Brom or a West Ham or something like that before another big club come and get him. But if Man City have the foresight to use him, then I hope that is going to be the case. Because you look at the players that Chelsea have had in their, who not so much come through their youth team, but they pretty much picked them up at a young age and sold them on. And they look at the players that they're missing out on. I mean, Lukaku is one of them. Another one is, what's his face? De Bruyne. I mean, Chelsea are missing out. Obviously, they got rid of Matic, they brought him back, and they got rid of him again. He's one of the best centre midfielders in the Premier League. I mean, there's something not quite right with the recruitment and the selling on at Chelsea. But Man City, they're pretty much renowned for not really giving youth much of a chance. I mean, the closest they've come to that is actually playing Fabian Delph this season. So I hope Man City change their ways and use this guy and let him fulfil his potential. Greg, looking forward to Swindon Day. Chris, wonder how many we'll bring. I think we're going to bring quite a lot. It's one of those things where the season ticket holders have got first precedence on the tickets because there's a good chance we might sell out our allocation because it is close by. Because Swindon's only really an hour away. Going to get some stick here, win or lose. Will Labadi be back anytime soon? That's the thing. That's a question a lot of people are asking, but there doesn't really seem to be an answer at the moment. I hope he's back sooner rather than later because it's obvious that we're missing him in that centre midfield. We're missing a bit of spark in the centre midfield at the moment. I don't think Robbie Wilmot's the answer for the centre midfield, although I do think he's good enough to be playing. I think Briggs should be getting more game time. But at the same time, I do think we need to add that bit of extra creativity. Someone like Josh Sheehan coming back would be the perfect fix for us. I think the defence is good enough. I just think we're getting caught out a little bit too much because we're missing so many chances. I think we're just being caught out because we're not killing the games off. And if we have that little bit of extra creativity, we've got the players who can score the goals, but whether the final ball's not good enough or the first touch in the box isn't good enough, I think Josh Sheehan, someone like him, could bring that extra bit to the centre midfield, and it would just make a massive difference. Right then, you be in the home end versus Wickham. My sister wants to see a game. Which one is that? Is that when we play them, is it, mate? Big man. Today I was watching back some videos from pre-season. Marlon Jackson looked a lot faster and stronger than last season for sure. And it's just such a shame he got injured in the way that he did, you know. I mean, it's gutting. I mean, Lennell John Lewis last season, Marlon Jackson this season, looking like he could actually make an impact. And then he played against Cheltenham the other night, and he looked a complete, he looked worse than he was last season. Let's just hope that it's just a fitness thing and he's just getting himself back into shape. And I think he could have a role to play. Barnett and Chesterfield drop in like flies. I reckon they'll go down even if it's... Well, Barnett were the surprise package. Well, us and Barnett were the two surprise packages at the beginning of the season. It just goes to show how good we're doing, considering how good Barnett started and where they are right now. And the teams around us are winning, but we're still like 12 points afloat from relegation. It's not something we even need to worry about. We look just as capable of winning any game we play. The only time we didn't look capable of winning a game was when we played against Luton, but that was only for the first half. Second half, we tore them apart. So it just goes to show. I mean, we're capable of winning any game we play in this division. Georgie, how is Football Manager? It looks much better than last year. The only problem, I've got a laptop and it keeps frigging overheating my laptop and cutting out. So I've got to try and fix that. But thankfully I've got the big computer to do the experiment on, which is my brother's. But I'd rather be able to just lie in bed and just have a little click around on it for an hour or so a night, But I might need to take my laptop to get looked at, I don't know. Scabs, hi Chris. Hi Scabs, how are you, mate? I am. Love City, hate Argyle. Apart from FGR, is it really that obvious that I hate Forest Green Rovers? I mean, what? Which team do you hate, dislike the most in League 2? Morecambe are one that I don't particularly like. Would have said Plymouth if they were still in the league, but that was only because of the run-ins we had with them last season. They were the bane of our lives last year, right thorn on our side. I'm not too fussed on Stevenage, really. Luton, obviously. Other than that, there's no one I particularly hate. Mansfield I'm not too fond of, but it's sort of a love-hate thing with Mansfield. Because we got promoted into the Football League with them, I've got a soft spot for them for that reason. But at the same time, I can't stick them. At the same time, if that makes sense at all. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it there. Kean Willis up the port, good man. Like the new series with Rangers Football Manager 2018, yeah. Well, it's a different spin on an experiment. It's something that a lot of people have spoken about for a long time, about Celtic and Rangers being in the English League. I just thought, I wonder what it'd be like if they were, and put them to the test. This is the experiment. Basically, would they be willing to start from the bottom end and work their way up to the Premier League, not just slot themselves in? Never know. It may, looking at that experiment, it might look to see if it would be worthwhile them trying it. Right then, Phelpsy, Phil, we're far too negative at home at the moment. Almost sat for a draw and agreed missing a number 10. I don't think it's so much that we're negative. I just think we know how to play in League 2 now. We've always felt that we can do it differently in the past, and now we're playing League 2 teams at their own game a lot. We're getting moaned at for it, but people are expecting to beat us all the time, and we've become a really difficult team to beat. People are scraping draws against us. Mansfield scraped the draw, Port Vale scraped the draw. When people beat us, it's by the odd goal, except for Luton when it was 3-1. Usually we're winning games. So I don't think it's so much that we're negative. We just don't take our chances. We don't kill the game off. We go 1-0 up, and I suppose by saying negative, sitting back at 1-0 up, we should be firing for that second goal and killing it off. We had the upper hand. We had them against the ropes. Why not keep landing the blows on them and make it so they can't get back up. Simple. Anyway, Scarbs come to Accrington. I most certainly, pardon me, I most certainly am, mate. Absolutely. I take it you're going, so I'll see you there. Lee Saunders, who would you play instead of Dolan on Saturday? Can Dolan not play? Is he not going to be available? If so, I would play Sean Rigg, and unless Labardi's fit, but then I'd play Rigg, Labardi, and Tozer anyway. Tom Owen Evans is due another chance, I think, though. Luton are so inconsistent, it's unreal. Yeah, they are really inconsistent, and I think it's an annoyance to their fans because their budget is possibly, I'd imagine their budget is the highest in the league, unless I think someone said Swindon's was. But no, Luton are very inconsistent at the moment, and yeah, it would frustrate me considering how much money they're putting into their team. Josh Sheehan, what a player! Oh, absolutely. He would transform us in that centre midfield. Imagine a midfield of Sheehan, Tozer and Labardi. I think that's mouth-watering, that is. At the Oval game, I was right by you, but too shy to talk to you. Oh, mate, come and talk to me anytime. I'm easy to talk to. You know, no need to be shy. Come on over, say hello. Get involved in the singing as well, it's great. Right, thoughts on players publicly stating they want to leave, like that donkey Sacco. So, are we talking Mamadou Sakho at West Ham? Or no, Mamadou Sakho at... No, obviously Diafara Sakho, I think that's how you pronounce his name, at West Ham, him publicly stating he wants to leave. Now I'm on the same wavelength as you, mate, yeah. I don't know, really. I mean, it depends on... You know, if you're unhappy somewhere and you feel as though you could move on, then I don't know. I think you've got to confide in your manager and say, look, I want to move. If you're a part of the plans, it's up to the manager to convince that guy to stay. And if you can't do it, I think the player power is a bit out of hand at the moment. So I think players, they'll sign a contract and then say, oh, actually, no, I don't fancy it. But you've signed a contract, you should be staying at the club. But at the same time, some players just don't fit. They get homesick or they just don't settle in the area. There's many reasons in which players become unhappy, but it's up to the club to try and nurture that player. You know, make them feel more at home. You know, but then it's up to the player to go to them as well. So whatever the breakdown in the relationship there's something not quite clicking between Sakho and West Ham at the moment. So I don't think a player should ever go public and saying they want to leave, because then it just brings the club into disrepute then. So things like that should never go public. So then I think West Ham need to do something to try and make the guy happier, make him want to stay if they want to keep him. Thoughts on Jazzy Barn and Bob move to Torquay on loan? Keane Woodis says bye. Cheerio, mate. Thoughts on Jazzy moving to Torquay? I felt we could use him, but I think it's only a short-term loan. So, yeah, I gotta be fair. If he gets a bit of game time and does well, and brings Torquay up a little bit, then he'll come back a better player. So hopefully that will be the case. Can't be asked by FM18 to cut in my creator club from 17. Yeah, I get that, mate. I know what it's like, but then the thing that does me over is the excitement of the new game. I find it easy to leave an old game behind, but yeah, I mean I understand, but FM18 is good. Good to see the interviews have come back. We'll be interviewing the Newport board again. It's in the pipeline. I'm just waiting for the time to be right, because at the moment there's been a bit of disrepute. I'm being loaded with information which I don't know if it's true or not, but it could turn into questions that I could ask them. I don't know. I'd like to. It's certainly in my pipeline. I'm certainly going to look at doing it. But we'll have to wait and see, mate, at the end of the day. I'd like to. I know that much. Dolan's suspended. Right, okay then. Owen Evans getting the chance, maybe. Yep, Lee agrees as well. Yeah, why not? Owen Evans, you know, he bleeds amber. He's all for the club. So yeah. Softly in the tunnel after the game, having a massive go at O'Brien because he was at fault for the Port Vale goal. Some scary shit that was. Well, yeah, I think when you caught out position as a defender, that's a big part of your play is your tactics. Tactical awareness is a big part of a defender's game. Positioning is a big part of that tactical awareness. When your positioning is out, you open up the world of shit, and unfortunately it cost the goal against Port Vale because you, like I say, out of position. It's an unfortunate thing, but these players won't learn unless they get a rollicking for it. They've got to learn the hard way. Football's not easy. You don't get paid a buttload of money, to do something that you love and have it be an easy ride for you all the time. You got to take it, And at the end of the day, they got a lot of time and a lot of respect for Flinney. So we'll shade at them, but I don't think they'll completely take it to heart. They'll allow it to affect them there, and then hopefully it'll improve them as footballers. A bit of discipline is great. Lucky that Walsall didn't have a cutting edge in the final third, and Port Vale was proven what happens. Even when the equaliser happens, we don't go for a win. We're happy with a draw. Well, I think we wanted to go for the win. Although I do think Flinney should have made some subs. After it went 1-1, Reynolds should have come on, because you just scared the shit out of them. So I don't understand why Reynolds didn't come on. I don't understand why a sub wasn't made with a more attacking twist to the team to try and use those last 10 minutes plus stoppage time to get a winner. But I wouldn't have thought we sat back and accepted the draw. I think we wanted the win, but we just couldn't create anything right at the end. Although I think Newbley could have done a little bit better with a couple of chances in the second half. I think we left it too late to bring him on. Don, I think we should have made it a 4-3-3 after it went 1-1. But hey, I'm not the manager, and we're in a position that we would have killed for last season, so we're progressing. We have to be happy with what we're doing. We can't win every game. We can't be perfect every game. We have to realise this is League Two, and we're Newport County. We've got to be happy with taking it a step at a time, because we might not be fit for League One. We'd like to get promoted. Yeah, the promotion would be absolutely buzzing. But to be honest with you, if I had a choice between promotion this season or a cup run, I'd take the cup run. Maybe get into the playoffs and unfortunately miss out on the playoffs. But I would take the cup run, because the cup run would provide us with the finances to strengthen us so we're able to make that jump at some point. And with Flynn building on the squad, playing the right tactics that he's not doing it perfectly, but he's learning. He's got the right people around him, and he's got his heart in it as well, which is something you don't find an awful lot in football management now. It's just a job to some people. It means something a lot more than that to Flinney. So, and under his guidance, I'm sure we're going to do just fine. So I wouldn't be worrying about these little things that we're doing wrong at the moment, because we're doing too much right for us to be upset about it right now, Anyway, Greg, what's happening with Paul Hayes? Is he available yet? Yes, agree, we're missing Labadi. Be glad to see him back. Yeah, missing Labadi big time. Paul Hayes, for some reason, we haven't been able to register him until January. Even though free transfers, I thought we would register up till November, but I don't know if the rules changed. I think the rules changed with loans. I think there's a deadline for loans in the Football League, maybe. I don't know what the rules are now. They change them every bastard year, don't they? FA Cup time soon. Yeah, looking forward to that cup game. I just hope we bloody win it. We just have to win that game. County had to sign a Premier League reject. Who would you want it to be? That's a good question, but I mean, are we looking at a realistic, or are we looking at someone who didn't quite make the Premier League and would try their hand in League Two? Sorry guys, it's a bit late, and work is particularly draining at the moment. I'm getting used to the new role, of course. Premier League reject. I don't know, that's tough, that is. It's tough. I'm trying to be realistic with it. Someone who would realistically go into our team. I can't really think at the moment, big man. I have to come back with an answer on that one. I have a little bit of a think. Worst and best ground you've been to? Mine, best Emirates, right? I think the worst ground I've been to is got to be the one I'm going to on Saturday. In the Football League, at least, anyway. Accrington, got to be the worst ground. The best ground I've been to is got to be the Rico or the Amex. Alright, Scabs, for some reason I got the feeling that Cambridge are going to nick it in the FA Cup game. Just one of those things, I don't know. I don't know. Cambridge we should be able to beat at home, but potentially can be a banana skin. We haven't really had much luck against Cambridge. In the season we went up, we beat them 6-2, fair enough. But since then, since they've come back into the Football League, we haven't really been that good against them, have we really? I mean, we lose against them all the time, so I'm hoping that the FA Cup will bring a bit of change to that. So, I don't know, potentially a banana skin, but yeah, I'm not overly confident about it, but we should win. Worst Oxford Gym. I quite like Oxford Stadium, I just don't like the fact that there's no stand behind the one goal. Why is the message board so negative? Can't be bothered anymore. They're just sad, lonely people, mate. There's a lot of sad, lonely people who think they know everything, unfortunately don't. I could have taken people down on that message board quite easily, but not without putting people who I cared about in the shit. So those people on there, it's not worth giving them the platform. It's not worth talking about them. It's not worth putting them on these pedestals, which in their mind, if you're talking about them, that's exactly where you're putting them. You're giving them that, that attention that they're seeking, so they thrive on it. And then when people respond to them, I'm guilty of responding to these people a lot. And some of these people, they're just goddamn awful in the way that they operate, in the way that they speak. It can be infuriating, and it's too easy to get sucked into it. So my advice would be, don't post on it, because the less people that post on it, they'll find that it's just them talking shit all the time. And if it's just them talking shit amongst themselves, there's no one to answer back to them. And then if there's just them talking shit, then there's no one that's going to be looking at it. So it's just going to be a group of lonely people talking amongst themselves. So you give them that platform, you give them that attention, and they'll keep doing it. And if you listen to what they say, and take to heart what they say, then they win. It's as simple as that. Kainty aren't having a bad year. We got this. Yeah, we'll finish top 10, I think. We may not make the playoffs, but I certainly think we'll finish top 10. There's no threat of relegation at all. We got a really good-looking squad at the moment, which can be built on. No, there's absolutely no reason for us to feel down at the moment. The West would love, wouldn't we all? We'd all love another trip to Wembley. Absolutely, it might happen in the playoffs, but I'm gonna say I doubt it'll happen, because even though we're looking good, we haven't quite got that cutting edge that's gonna take us up that far. But at the same time, we'll finish top 10, and we should all be damn bloody happy that we have done as well. Love City here. I got our thoughts on Sisu and other bad owners. Yeah, I've done something on this before, like business people in football, because there's certain parts of our fan base that think that business people are the way forward, but then you talk to people like Coventry, you talk to Blackpool, you talk to a lot of these clubs that have just fallen from grace, and then you ask them, are business people worth having at your football club? It's as simple as that. Sometimes they can work out. Basically, business people don't make a successful football club. Football people who know how to run a football club make a successful football club. People who know how to operate the business of football. Now, there's one thing to be a business runner, but then not know a single thing about the business of football and how you can make money in football and how you can utilise that money well. There's factions of our supporters who seem to think that they know how to do that, but then unfortunately they were part of the running of the club when we were in non-league, and they did a fantastic job back then. But then, should we be trusting them and their idea of how to run this football club based on what they used to do in non-league? We're Football League now. There's different policies, there's different procedures, there's a lot of things that's different when you're in Football League. We shouldn't be listening to the people who seem to think they know better because they did it in non-league. No way. So yeah, Sisu. No business running a football club, these people. They haven't got a clue, have they? I mean, you can't say they haven't put the money in, but have they spent it wisely? No, because even though they put money in, Coventry's still in League 2 and they should be in the Premier League. It's as simple as that. These people don't know how to run football clubs. Blackburn, they don't know how to run a football club. The Oystons are finally going to sell to Blackpool, thank God. These people don't know how to run a football club. So they have no business being part of a football club. They should get out. Bluebird should be, if you got a third round, who would you want? Home tie or away? Away to Man United has got to be the first choice because of the money we'd make. Simple. And it's a big day out for our supporters who bloody deserve one, especially after having Liverpool taken off them last season like that. A penalty right at the end of extra time. That was fucking heartbreaking, that was. But we stayed up. If we had the choice between going to Liverpool and staying up, we'd have chosen staying up. So as it happens, it worked out quite well. But we have to think of what's going to be the best away day for our supporters. But then at the same time, we have to think what's going to make the club the most money. Man United away, it's got to be. A personal dream of mine would be Liverpool away, and then other clubs, for other people like Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, any of those big clubs, any one of the top 6 would be perfect away. Eden, I would happily go to Wembley to watch player final if it happens. Well, you never know, it could do. Someone like Newbley. Right, okay, yeah, so you were in the Premier League, didn't cut it. I don't know, it's hard to keep track of the players who were Premier League, because most of the players who were Premier League, if they didn't make it in the Premier League, they've either gone abroad or they've gone in the Championship, thus making them too good to play in our division. Only a select few work their way right down. So it's a difficult one, mate. It's still a difficult one. Doing a project with poor ownership, Oystons, Pachetti, interesting topic. Yeah, poor ownership. There's a lot of poor ownership, absolutely. Too much. And it's ruining football clubs, and it's bringing football down, and I hate to see it. Kazakh, you're late, but nobody's better late than never, mate. Sure you can relate to being a West Ham fan. Yeah, crap board. Alright, so Kazakh, you're a Rotherham fan if I'm right, yeah. You want to play us in the third round. I mean, we would be looking for someone bigger, but it wouldn't exactly be a shady tie, would it? Going to Rotherham, that'd be alright. I mean, no disrespect to your club, mate, but then when you're League Two and you're desperate for a nice big payday, you've got to go for the Premier League, or at least the top teams in the Championship. So we would be disappointed with getting Rotherham, but it doesn't mean that we wouldn't enjoy our day out. So we'll wait and see. Not knowing football, cough cough, Karen Brady. Well, the West Ham board have obviously cocked an awful lot of things up, and the great stadium that you had is gone, unfortunately. And you were progressing well there. Going to the Olympic Stadium, I don't think that the move was right for West Ham, although I think it'll come good eventually. David Moyes didn't take over you, did he? Did David Moyes take over you? I'm sure he took over you, didn't he? I don't know. My mind's gone a blank on that one. Did David Moyes take over from you? I think EFL needs to intervene quicker and more efficiently when it comes to bad ownership. Yeah, there's got to be a strict set of guidelines in place, and you've got to be doing certain things right, and if you're doing things wrong, a bit like a football manager gets sacked, but the EFL tell you, look, you're not right, you've got to sell up. But then at the same time, it's a business. They can't make someone sell up a business, I suppose. I mean, making it so they can't buy the football club without passing a fit and proper persons test, yeah, absolutely. But I don't think they can get rid of people when they've already bought the club. I mean, imagine Aguero turned Dimitri inside out. Don't think he would. I think Dimitri would kick him up in the air. Arsenal's an awesome stadium. Yeah. The only thing is, they're so damn expensive, Arsenal are. Thoughts on that rich Essex club with the Premier League players? Billericay. This guy's got a lot of money to make himself manager. He's on a bit of an ego trip, isn't he? Absolutely. So I caught up with everything. That's brilliant. Now look, guys, I know I usually go on to about the 45-minute mark, but I'm going to have to cut it at the 35-minute mark. I mean, these are only supposed to last half hour, so you get a free 15 minutes every week anyway. But I'm going to have to cut this short there, guys, unfortunately. I need to get myself an early night, Arsenal give Cardiff cheap tickets to us. Really? Okay. Hopefully that'll be the case if we did get Arsenal. But yeah, we're going to call it a night now, guys. Thanks you all for getting involved. Thanks for some good questions as well. You managed to get me to touch on some good subjects tonight as well, so I appreciate that. And to give my opinions, strong opinions on some things as well, especially business people in club ownership, and especially with the feel good factor at the county at the moment. We should be happy with what we're getting. I mean, we got a lot of potential in that squad. They're getting better, I think. Well, in a way, they're getting better. I think the results are dipping, but I think reality is kicking in, and they're dealing with it well. I mean, look at Barnet. That's how wrong it could have gone. Barnet and us were in the same position not too long ago. Barnet are now in a relegation spot. We're not. We're still in the top 10. So have a little think about that one. Anyway, thank you guys. Been a great one as always. Appreciate you all getting involved. And yep, until the next time, it's going to be cheerio for now. Good night, everybody. Thank you again.